This video is for a standard agent booking for a new residential customer. Go to my service console. Under my quick menu, I find accounts. And then this is a table view. I either click new, or if I'm in the split view, new would be here. I then select a person account for a residential customer. And I'll start filling out the form. Select the customer type. Landline telephone number and mobile number. I can leave the website blank and description blank for now. Email address is important. And the campaign type, how they heard about us. I'm now going to select the billing address where they want all the invoices sent to. This may or may not be the same as the worksite address. I click on search and start typing the address. And it populates for me. I don't need to fill out the shipping address at this stage. I'm happy I've completed everything I need to. I click save. A new person account has been created within the Salesforce database. However, it is essential at this stage that I give the customer a online presence, and I do that by clicking this drop down list, and enable customer user is what I select. It goes into the customer community users page. I just click save and OK. And the customer will get an email inviting them to create a password in order to list their new account. I can then just go back into the service console. And if your account that you were creating doesn't immediately appear, you click on history. It's actually there, most recently viewed. But it's just appeared in history there. Clicking on history shows you the most recent records that you've worked on. Get rid of that. So now I've created this customer account. I'm going to now create a new work order for them. So new booking. Scroll down to, I'm under the related page tab. If I want to see the customer's details, I click on the details tab, and I can see all the details that I've added for them. Under the related tab, I scroll down to work orders and select new. And it's a standard agent booking I'm doing at the moment, which is either a booking that's come in through the telephone or email. Click next. And I'm going to create a work order for this customer. How long do I expect this job to take? Is it a handyman job, an electrical job, or a gas boiler job? In this case, for this example, I'm going to say it's 2 hours of handyman services. So I'll stop typing handyman. I'll then click the little magnifying glass. And I find the duration of 2 hours of handyman service time. And that's my work type. The status is new because it's a new booking. I can ignore lost reason. There's no parent work order to select for this job because it's directly related to this account that I've set up. And the account is for John Swift. There's no related case that I need to search for here. Representative details is the person who's meeting us on site. It can be the customer themselves or the tenant. And now I'm going to add a bundle to this job, which is basically the charges that are going to apply to this work. In this case, it's a standard bar time job, so I'll start typing bar time and click the little search. It shows me all of the charges that relate to bar time charges. Select the one that applies. There's no purchase order number to get. This is the information that I'm going to type out for the handyman's information. The customer does not see this information, so it's time-based. Must take payment. At the moment, I don't have card. My initials. I'm going to ignore this checkbox for now, and I'll get back to that. Who's going to be meeting our site? It is going to be the bill payer. So I'll take their details and just put them here. If it was the tenant, I'd put their telephone number there. Before I move on to the next section, I'm going to scroll back up. The territory is the postcode, is the area within London that this postcode belongs to. This work is in East London, so it's the East territory that I'm going to look for and assign this job to. The contact on site is going to be John Swift, so I'm going to add John Swift as the contact. And because I've added a bundle, the bar time bundle, I don't have to add any other prices. So I've completed this first section, the work order section, the information section that is rather. And now moving to the notifications. By default, I'm going to leave these notifications as they are. The service report auto email, that's the service report that comes from the handyman's mobile to the customer. I'm going to leave that as send. The job notification email, that's the email that comes from us in the office to the customer notifying them of the booking. I'm going to leave that as send. Then payments creating is automatically set up. That means we are going to take payment at the end of this visit, either from a card that we take from the customer now at the time of booking, or from a payment that the handyman takes on site. And invoice generation means that as this job is completed by the technician on site, an invoice is created for that work. So we leave that as automatic. I can skip this next section about billing information and move straight on to the description. In this case, the general description for the subject is handyman services. And the description of the jobs that the customer wants us to do. The important thing to note about what you type in here is that it is printed on the customer's version of the service report. So don't put any notes in here you wouldn't like the customer to see. If there's anything you want the handyman to see but not the customer, you would type them in the technician notes in the section above. And then we're going to actually type in the work site address where this work needs to be done at. It could be identical to the billing address. It could be a separate rental property, but you do have to retype them in at this stage on the work order. If you click search, you can either search for the postcode or you can start typing the address. If you do search for the postcode, you then have to enter the house number or flat name. I'm now ready to save what I've done, making sure that I've saved the territory as well as the work type. And now the work order is created. Any of this information that I have entered already is editable within the next stage of the work order. The information that I have already entered in the work order is editable here on the right hand side section. There's all the details that I've added. The thing to note at this stage is I've got this status bar at the top of the screen, and once I've moved the status to scheduled, does a service appointment automatically be created. Now, in order to have a scheduled job, you need to have both a work order record as well as a service appointment record. At the moment, I've only got the work order. I need to create the service appointment and schedule that service appointment for a date, time, and saint. The way I get to that point is I move the status bar along to scheduled by clicking mark stage as completed, moves on to the next stage, and I do it again, and I get to the schedule stage. And as soon as I'm in the scheduled stage, just close this window that's popped up, I can see that a service appointment has been created. This service appointment is initially getting information from what I've put on the work order that it needs to be 2 hours in an East Territory and that it's handyman services. Uh, I can then offer this customer the best appointment that suits us by clicking on book appointment, waiting for it to refresh, and then saying get appointments. Let's say that we do have available appointments between 8 and 6 on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. The most ideal, if I look at on Monday, I click on the information. The best slot for us to arrive on Monday would be for the handyman to arrive between 3 and 4 o'clock. If that's not suitable, I can check on Tuesday, have a look at all the appointments. This appointment is for the handyman to arrive between 8 and 9 o'clock on Tuesday. On Wednesday, we've got an appointment for the technician to arrive between 8 and 9. If none of these, if the customer particularly wants a specific handyman, you can click on candidates, say get candidates, and saying the handyman we've got that matches this area for this week. Sandor's got 13 appointments available. Monday, 3 o'clock. And you can see it's saying that that's a score out of 95 out of 100, so that's the best slot that suits us. So let's just select that for the Sandor to arrive between 3 and 4 o'clock on Monday. And I say schedule to Sandor. Now the service appointment is scheduled. You can have a quick look at it by clicking on View Service Appointment. The service appointment pops up. You know it's a service appointment because it says SA for service appointment and the number. Under the Details tab, I scroll down. I can see the status is scheduled and it's for the handyman to arrive between 3 and 4 o'clock and it's for 2 hours. The duration is 2 hours and that's all that information has been gathered from the work order. Have a look at Related tab and I'll scroll down to see the service resource, which is the handyman, and it's been assigned to Sandor. Then close the service appointment. I'm back at the work order and I can now take the details from this customer in terms of payment. I click on the payment page. Wait for it to refresh and I can take a card detail from this customer now. If they're reluctant to give me a card detail over the phone, I can select the send card detail checkbox. And as soon as I say save, it's going to send them an email asking them to upload the card details. As soon as I've got the card details from them, I can update the technician notes. So that I've got a card on file. I will at this stage add some card details just so you can see how it's done. So I click on add card details. All I'm doing is the long number, expiry date, CVC number, and postcode. So I've got a few dummy data to enter here. You'd obviously enter UK postcode. The system I'm using as for these videos is connected to a US system, so these are US based cards and postcodes, zip codes. I click add card, and any card that's highlighted as green is the card that's going to be used for this particular job as payment. If I wanted to add a different card, I'd click add new card, and then I'd select the card that I want to apply for this payment by highlighting it, selecting it, it'll highlight it as green. Okay, so I've got the payment. I'm now going to move the status of this work order along from scheduled to dispatched. As soon as I've done that, then an email is triggered and sent to the customer to say the job is booked in. There we go. The job is now booked in. The customer's got their email to confirm the job's all booked. The service appointment is scheduled for the handyman and the work order is dispatched.